Now,
on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
Governor Glenn Youngkin will be our guest coming up in 30 minutes. That's 7:35 this morning. Governor Glenn Youngkin on this election day in Virginia. Then at 8:05, the chairman of the Republican Party of the Commonwealth, Rich Anderson, who's done yeoman's work over the last several years. 8:15, Ian Pryor out of Loudoun County, specifically about those Loudoun County school board races. And at 8:35, Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, and away we go. We are joined right now by the chairman of the Fairfax Republican Party, Steve Knotts. And, well, you made it to Election Day, Steve, although it's like we're acting like, well, it's the finish line. No, you've got a very busy day ahead of you, don't you, Steve?
I do have a busy day, but I'm in great company on your show this morning. I'm hearing your list of people, and that's exciting to have everybody out and working for a win in Virginia. Well,
I want to first commend you because I remember doing an Election Day Virginia show about 8 years ago, and I had caller after caller after caller lamenting the fact that in some races there wasn't even a Republican option. And I know that you and Mr. Anderson made it a goal to let that never be the case again. So congratulations on actually really, it seems, drafting a pretty good field of Republican alternatives for Fairfax.
We do have a great field. And when you look at candidate qualifications and start doing comparisons, our guys are head and shoulders above what the Democrats are putting up. We've had issues in Fairfax with, Dem candidates that can't even fill out their paperwork right and on the ballot, off the ballot, running around in circles. So, let's get some quality professional people in and have a government that works for the people and not pushing all the crazy agendas that are going on now. We're local. And we're really hoping to get some guys in there that are going to look out for what the local community needs and get off of all this other stuff that doesn't impact people day to day.
We know that a lot of outside groups want Virginians to adopt these sort of California policies, especially when it comes to excluding parents from decisions. How can the Republican Party better combat these outside forces with lots and lots of money that are funding these candidates?
You hit the nail on the head right there. It is all about money. These outside groups that are trying to get things changed and are really undermining some of the foundations of our society are in it for the money. You look at the unions, you look at some of the special interest groups that are coming in, and every time you see these candidates taking more and more and more money from these special interest groups, we get more and more and more problems in our local governments for sure. That's one of the things that we fought this election cycle, and it's actually sad to see because our donors are really generous people, but we don't have that kind of outside money flowing into our races, and it makes it difficult. I mean, we're down on dollars 10 to 1, 20 to 1, and our guys are still out there fighting, and they're scrapping, and they're going to pull out some wins today. I feel it in my bones. That we're going to have a good day in Fairfax County. So let's just get out and do it. If you've got a few extra minutes, come and volunteer. We need people everywhere. So just call the office or get on fairfaxgop.org, and we'll be ready to go.
Oh, that's good to know because I've actually been suggesting that already, Steve. So I'm glad I was correct. Yep. If someone's already early voted, that's wonderful. You can still do something today, and you can get and volunteer. All right, a couple of mechanical.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Can I make 2 points about that? We have a voter tool on our website with both redistricting and the time of early voting. Please go on that website, go to the voter tool, find out exactly where you need to vote today so you don't end up at the wrong location. And from there, we do need volunteers. We need your help. Come on out. We need every vote. Everybody who doesn't vote's voting for a Democrat. So come out and cast that vote today.
So you actually beat me to the punch because I got a couple of fundamentals that I got to get from you. The first is I know it's important that people get the sample ballot, especially with the school board races. So where's the best place for people to go and take a look at the GOP's recommendations for the vote today? What's the website?
So the website is fairfaxgop.org. At the very top, there's a link to 2023 candidates. When you go in there, both the voter tool and the sample ballots are there. If you use the voter tool, it'll lead you to the sample ballot. And we do have people out. That's what I'm saying. We need volunteers today because it's a long day and we need a lot of volunteers to hand out physical sample ballots at the voting locations. There's over 260 precincts now, so that's a lot of people we need out. So if you got a few minutes, even if it's an hour, half hour, come on out.
Another question for you, Steve. We've already had a caller say that he had problems at his polling place. He went to Center Ridge Elementary School, which is District 901 in Centerville, and it was locked. Stood there for 15, 20 minutes. No one showed up, so voters got turned away. Where should they go to register some sort of problem or complaint?
There should be with the county government. The elections office is open today. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but definitely call down there. We're checking into that as well. That Sully District is my old stomping ground. We've got our district chair doing some checking on that now to find out what's going on.
All right.
But please, if you went out to try to vote and you had an issue, please circle back and go vote. We need every vote today.
Steve Knotts is with us, chairman of the Republican Party in Fairfax County. And, of course, Governor Youngkin, through his Secure Your Vote campaign over the last several months, has poured a whole lot of energy and money into getting the Republican vote out unlike ever before and really unlike any other place in the country. Can you give us your assessment based on early numbers as to how that early vote is looking for Republicans compared to elections past?
It's looking really, really good for us this time around. The early voting numbers is where it was coming in 85-15 Democrat a few years ago. You know, and I'm getting this information from polls and things like that, but now it's like 60-40, 65-35, still in the Democrats' favor, but we're doing much better there. And that's what always happens on election day is we get that dump at the end of the day and everything flips the other direction.
Yeah.
We will beat them today. All over the place. We'll beat them today, but the early vote, both the numbers being down and the fact that Republicans are getting out and taking advantage of the rules that the Democrats put into play, we're playing by those rules now, and I'm hoping statewide for sure that that'll be very good for us.
One other question in that regard, and that is especially in Fairfax County, we see that dump that comes in late at night or sometimes early in the morning. What are you anticipating with regard to the way ballots are being counted and the distribution of those votes with regard to the same-day voting versus early voting, when they get counted, when they get allocated? What's it going to look like tonight and into the evening, and what presence will the Republican Party have in terms of overseeing that process?
So we do have our poll watchers, our poll observers out today. They're around in different places, making sure things are going the way they're supposed to go. They've been involved through the early process as well. There will be a dump tonight because the way it happens in Fairfax County is everything comes in that's early vote, whether it's absentee by mail or early voting, and it's counted as one precinct. So when that, quote, precinct is counted, there's almost 100,000 votes that are going to fall at one time. And, that's just kind of the system they have. So we're expecting that dump to happen. Hopefully it happens earlier rather than later. But don't be surprised when that happens because that's the way the votes get counted. And if it happens early, it's much easier to kind of absorb that into our thinking. But if it happens late, then it appears to be something that's off. But be assured, our guys are out there today. We've got a crack team, and I wish I could brag on all of them today, but they're doing a wonderful job with election integrity and working that side of the house. Right. So it should be a good day, and every vote counts. The vote is secure. Let's get out there and vote.
Yeah, and then any Republican who doesn't vote is a Democrat vote. That's a great way to put it, Steve Knotts. Thank you so much. It's fairfaxgop.org. where you'll get all your information. And, Steve, get back to work now. Stop lollygagging.
Yeah.
Stop messing around. This is a 15-minute phone call. You don't have time for that. Get out of here, Steve. Thank you.
See you later.
Chairman of the...
Hey. Later this morning on the Chris Plant Show, anti-Semitic Palestinian crashes her car into a house filled with American anti-Semites. She was confused. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
888-630-9625. We want to hear from you about what's going on with your election day experience, and also if there was any problem so far, as polls have been open for a little bit over an hour. How about Chris in Marshall? Go ahead, Chris. You've been holding for a while. I appreciate it. Happy Election Day.
Absolutely. Happy Election Day, you guys. I'm a regular listener, regular caller. I think George and Marshall spoke to my wife, actually. She's at the poll from 5 this morning until 8 tonight. We have had when I was growing up, the front line of the heartland was Fairfax County. Then it was Prince William. Then it was Loudoun. And successively, all of these counties have fallen to the left.
Yeah.
Fauquier County is the front line of the heartland, ladies and gentlemen. The front line is where the fight is. Debbie and I have had a monthly Patriot potluck bonfire for 43 consecutive months. We work tirelessly to keep this county conservative.
Oh,
and
yeah, Chris, you guys are legendary, this bonfire.
Yeah.
I know. Julie and I talk about it often.
I'm going to get out there eventually.
We're going to do a special bonfire appearance. We just have to figure out how we can be on the air the next morning is the problem.
Come as you are. It's there. It's the last Saturday of every month, and God bless you guys for keeping the fire going as well. Fauquier County it's a crucial fight, and we're up against some pretty formidable and dishonest competition. Our poor delegate, or rather our Board of Supervisor candidate, Marshall, Regan Washer, has been slandered and slammed in national media. It's been an absolute disgrace the way they've painted him and what they've done in that fight.
Yeah, this is what they do, Chris. We've seen it all too often. Listen, thank you for fighting the good fight, and get out there. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
Come
Chris.
on out.
We do have to do that.
Yeah, he's great. Right. He's great.
How about Jeremy in Clover Hill District? This is just outside Richmond. Jeremy, our signal's just stretching down to you. Thanks. You're up on the air.
Hi. I actually listen online. It's a little easier, a little clearer.
Okay. But, I've driven down to Richmond, and I can hear 105.9 just right up until I get to that little mini beltway.
Right. So anyway, we went in this morning. We're avid voting day voters. It's just call it tradition, call it, whatever.
Yes.
And so we get up early. We always do the same, coffee, yada, yada. We're at the polls by 6:20, no later. And again, no problem getting checked in, getting ballots. All of that's fine and good until we go to put our ballots into the machine. And this is where things get weird. They are asking folks to put the ballots under the machine drawer for now because they weren't open until 5 minutes before 6, and the machine's not ready. And they're asking people to leave their ballots, and they'll run them through the machine later.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. So I push back a little, and they, I get to run around, and I understand the laws, and you can't make a huge stink at the polling place without getting into significant trouble. But, was incredibly a weird situation.
Yeah, it sure is, and I wonder if there's a way to follow up on that. And there's got to be. I mean, that's just the whole point of the process that we've got here is you watch your ballot go through the machine and get securely counted. You don't leave it in other people's hands.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't do anything like logging ballot numbers to names or anything like that. Right. So there's no real chain of custody that way. The only chain of custody is that my hands put it in that machine.
Right.
And now I watched at least 30, maybe 40 people not get to put their vote in that machine.
Well, thanks for flagging that for us, and we're going to make a note of it, Clover Hill District, and I'm sure you will too. You should call your county elector's office and register this now. Jeremy, that needs to be noted. All right, thank you for the call, man, and I appreciate you being a loyal listener down in Richmond. All right, we're continuing our Election Day coverage here. Governor Glenn Youngkin coming up in mere moments, but we're also hearing from you at 888-630 WMAL. Heather in Centerville. Go ahead, Heather, your Election Day message.
Reminder, all of Fairfax County, write in Ed Nuttall.
Yeah.
You see Steve Descano's name for Commonwealth's attorney, write in Ed Nuttall. Steve Descano has let several criminals go, and then in a few cases they have killed people.
Steve Descano's a disaster, Soros-backed. You're right. Write in Ed Nuttall. And we'll continue taking your calls throughout the morning if you want to get in here, 888-630 WMAL. But another reminder, in most jurisdictions, if not every, most of the school board seats are up for election. You want to make a change at the school board level, you can do it today on this one election day. And those elections, a lot of people don't bother to vote in the school board election. To our detriment in the past, Republicans have been overrun at the school board level because we just haven't focused on it. Well, that's changed. You need to go to your county Republican Party, get that sample ballot because it's a nonpartisan election, find out who the Republican candidates are, take that in, and change every single school board in this area. We will shock the world if we can do that. Governor Glenn Youngkin next on O'Connor and Company.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News now. Now.
On News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
Well, if you want to hear a lot of Election Day coverage, you've come to the right place. O'Connor and Company this Tuesday, Election Day morning. We're joined right now by the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, who I feel like, Glenn Youngkin, because of Virginia's unique off-year election cycle, you're constantly campaigning. You were campaigning for governor, and then you were campaigning for the midterms last year, and now this all-important election in Virginia. Thank you for joining us.
Larry, great to be with you. We've made 100 stops during this campaign,
Wow.
and we've gotten the vote out. Listen, I'm so excited about our great candidates. I believe that Virginians are going to step up and extend our license to lead that they granted us in 2021 because we've delivered results. I mean, 230,000 more Virginians are working today than just 22 months ago. We've gone from near the bottom of job growth to near the top of job growth during that time period. We put parents back at the head of the table in their kids' lives. It's reestablished excellence in education. I'm so excited about this intense tutoring program that we've rolled out in order to allow kids to catch back up from the massive learning loss caused by school boards and the previous governor.
Yeah.
We've gone to work to make sure that Virginia is on the move. And the reality, of course, Larry, is the other side has nothing to run on. All they have is fear and mistruths. They have no plan to grow jobs, no plan to make communities safe, no plan to empower parents or stand up for excellence in education, nothing other than fear and mistruths.
Yeah.
And we're the party of hope. They're the party of fear, and hope beats fear every day of the week.
Well, you're right about what they've got to run on, because if you look at some of their campaign ads, you'd think that the Republicans have offered the spawn of Satan this election season. The negative ads are awful. Listen, last night you were making your final argument right here in our backyard in Loudoun County, and I got to say, you know, for your agenda of bringing parents back into the conversation and a seat at the table, at the head of the table, with regard to their children's education, here we've got the Loudoun County School Board and the school superintendent. It appears once again with this fentanyl overdose scandal, forgetting who's in charge here, Governor Youngkin. And it was made to order for this election day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just shocking that the same school district that literally tried to cover up sexual assaults in bathrooms twice with the same perpetrator who they moved from one school to the next, who sexually assaulted another woman after our great attorney general's investigation was fired and indicted. And here they are again with 9 fentanyl overdoses in the same school, and they wait 20 days to tell parents. 9 fentanyl overdoses. Now, thank the Lord that none of these young folks died, but 3 had to be revived with Narcan. 2 required CPR. This is absolutely a breach of confidence. Parents are in charge of their children. And can you imagine? There should have been conversations at home every night after the first fentanyl overdose that said, hey, my son, my daughter, stay away from that stuff. One pill can kill. They're counterfeit drugs that have been laced with fentanyl. We know it. We see it. And they didn't tell anyone. So this is a chance for Virginians, and particularly those around Northern Virginia and Loudoun County particularly. They come up to me all the time and say, what can we do about our schools? Well, today is the day for you to do something about it. Elect a new school board. They're all on the ballot. Get out there and vote and elect a new school board, and let's chart a new direction for schools in Northern Virginia and particularly Loudoun County schools.
Governor, I'd love to get your opinion on some of these outside groups. We're talking California groups that are funding some of these local elections. And not only that, we've seen Wes Moore spending more time in Virginia lately, and also Nancy Pelosi coming and campaigning. It seems kind of panicky on the part of the Democrats. But give us your thoughts on this outside money and also these outside politicians coming in here to help with these local elections.
The liberal left has nothing to talk about. They don't know how to create jobs. They don't know how to drive excellence in education. They don't know how to make our communities safe. They don't know how to transform behavioral health. They don't know how to run government more efficiently. All they know how to do, as I said, is literally sell fear. And as a result, they have nothing to talk about. And so they bring people in from all over that nobody in Virginia even knows who they are. This is the exact same thing that Terry McAuliffe did in 2021. He had this string of people that nobody knew come to try to excite their base. At the end of the day, no one's excited about what they're doing. And we are the party of hope. We are charting a path to that shining city on the hill. We are on our way. Virginia is just rocking and rolling. And that's why I'm asking Virginians, vote for candidates that will work with me. Send me a Republican House, a Republican Senate, so that we can unleash unlimited prosperity across the Commonwealth. Folks that will work with me, not fight against me. Folks that will work for Virginians as opposed to putting their own needs and their own political future in front of Virginia's future. This is what's on the ballot. And I believe that Virginians are going to rise to the moment. We did it in 2021. We locked arms. We've had the shot heard around the world, and it's time to unleash the spirit of Virginia 2.0.
Once again, the eyes of American politics are on the Commonwealth of Virginia, and Governor Glenn Youngkin is at the center of that story. And, Governor, as you know, on this program, we've had pretty much every single Republican candidate running in Northern Virginia, and specifically those candidates looking to give you a flip in the Senate and a new Republican majority. When I asked them, what's your number one agenda item? What do you want to bring up first? The majority of them said two words: car tax. Car tax. They're ready to deliver you a bill that gets rid of that car tax. Are you ready to sign it?
Yeah, I believe this is something that we have to find a way to address. It's a tough one, though, Larry, because as you know, it is a local tax. There's been a bill passed that allows the local governments, Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, Loudoun County Board of Supervisors, to reduce the car tax, and they won't do it. Because they pass these bills, they pass these tax increases in the middle of the night when no one's paying attention in local government, and we got to hold local government accountable. This is our chance to make our voices heard, and we've got to continue to battle the cost of living in Virginia. I have been wildly focused on reducing the cost of living through tax reduction. I promised Virginians $5 billion of tax relief, and we've delivered $5 billion of tax relief. And our great candidates, Juan Pablo Segura, Bill Wolf, Tara Durant, these are great folks who will go to work for Virginians. We have great House candidates as well. John Stirrup, Ian Lovejoy, Lee Peters, Gary Higgins. We got to get these folks elected so that we can hold our House, flip our Senate, and continue to do the work for all Virginians.
I know you're all over today. You were in Loudoun County yesterday. What are the main things you're hearing from the voters out there?
The number one issue, and you just brought it up, is the cost of living and the threat that Biden economics has placed on the Virginia family. Inflation has run away from people's ability to meet it. 60% of Americans, 60% of Virginians are living paycheck to paycheck. They're spending $700 more a month to buy the same groceries, the same clothes for their kids that they bought just 2 years ago, and they're worried. And that's why our tax relief and we're trying to bring down the cost of living is so important. I hope everybody's gotten your tax relief check. We processed them as fast as we could as soon as that delayed budget that the Democrats hung out and wouldn't pass, we could. But the most important thing to Virginians that I hear every single day is cost of living, but they're also worried about safety in their neighborhoods. They're worried about their kids' education. They want to make sure that our children are being taught how to think, not what to think. This is still a big issue across the Commonwealth. Listen, the Parents Matter movement that started in Loudoun County in Northern Virginia swept across the Commonwealth, swept across the nation, and is, again, right back on the ballot again. These are the top issues. I'm excited about the results we've delivered. We've got so much more to do. Send me a team that'll work with me and not fight against me.
All right, Governor Youngkin, you just mentioned Bidenomics. Are you surprised, real fast, I know you got to run, are you surprised Joe Biden he's steered clear of Virginia. He didn't want to have anything to do with you. He ran into a buzzsaw when he was stumping for Terry McAuliffe in the final weeks, and you won that election. Are you surprised he's not out, campaigning for his party?
I don't think people want him to campaign with him. Listen, Joe Biden's weakness has caused chaos around the world. Foreign policy weakness has caused chaos in the Middle East, in Ukraine, in China. Joe Biden's weakness when it comes to our border has caused drug chaos, national security chaos, humanitarian chaos. And his weakness on our economy has literally turned what should be the strongest economy into the world to one that's got huge questions around it that, again, projects weakness around the world. Joe Biden's weakness is bad for America, and that's why he's not showing up anywhere, because no one wants him to come campaign with him.
All right, Governor Glenn Youngkin, always great to talk with you. I do love hearing the raspy Youngkin voice.
Yeah,
he's been at campaign events 24/7. So you get a break after tonight. Good luck as you watch those results come in.
Everybody get out and vote. Today's the day to make your voice heard. Republicans, go vote. Thanks so much for having me, Larry and Julie.
Always. It's 7:47. Let's get straight to Jamie Witt. All right. Well, our thanks to Governor Youngkin for joining us. So we usually sort of spend some extra time with Governor Youngkin as he is the governor. So we're all locked up now for the 8 o'clock hour and ready to go. But Julie, your observations here from the governor and how I was surprised. He's ready to engage with President Biden. You could hear.
Yeah, he is. Look, the governor has done so much to help parents and kids in Virginia with learning loss through his tutoring program and other programs that he's launched. He really cares. And I say that as a parent who has dealt with this issue. And so I really hope that voters of all political persuasions try to keep in mind who has truly tried to help the people that were affected because of COVID shutdowns and extended masking and kids just being closed out of their schools. It's the governor. And I think many of the politicians that are running today are a part of that group of people that really tried to aid Virginia parents.
Well, and another one of those people who aided the parents is the Attorney General of Virginia, Jason Miyares. He's going to join us at 8:35. There's more to come here. It's 7.